Well, hello, everyone. You're on the lifeboat with Captain Calhoun. We're going to get down to business. How is everybody? Happy Monday. Hope it's treating everybody well. My Monday was quite epic, although I definitely felt like tired all day, but whatever. Lacey Silver, Scooby Lee, Valerie, good to see you guys. Zaphod Beeblebrox, president of the universe, has graced us with his presence. He's taken the boat. Joanne Rice, good to see you. And Don Gloves. Heck yeah, this is our new time. So I don't imagine that we're gonna get bombarded with attendance immediately, but that's all right. I think that it will work out. It'll work out in the wash, as they say. But if it doesn't, we can always go back to 7. My other's keeper, good to see ya. Mock Murdochable, good to see ya. Glad you guys made it. Yeah, I think I'll just kind of like fart around for just a sec and let people show up. And then we have some action boat for you today. West Coast Fancy Nancy, good to see you. I like that. I like that picture in the Santa hat. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we're gonna talk about action today. We've been talking a lot about like the inner work, positioning ourselves for success. Presence of mind, patience, all these inner spiritual, whatever you want to call it, these inner works, right? What about the action, Captain? What about the action? Well, I'm glad you asked, because there's a bunch of action we're going to talk about today. But I'm going to give it just a second more. How is everybody's Monday? Let's check in with the crew, and then we'll get to the meat and taters here. Good evening from Lakeland, Florida. Glad you joined us, Kevin. Dawn Glove says, see, this works for me because I get ready for work with you in the morning and ride home with you in the evening. Fantastic. Davey, I was wondering when you'd show up. It's good to see you on the phone, but thinking of you all. XOXO. She's pretty great. Valerie says, my day was great. I got lost in working on a short story and it really flowed. That's what we want right there. That's what we like to hear, when it just flows. I should do a show on the flow state at some point. I should write that down so I don't forget. I'm always thinking like, oh, what should I do tonight? And all of the ideas that I had are gone because I didn't write them down. There's that. All right. Well, I don't want to wait too long. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Wharton Fissel, good to see you. Tammy, lurking as always. How you doing, Wharton? Good to see you. I'm doing very well. Yeah, so the action. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of inner work. We've been talking a lot about these, concepts, but what about the actual action? What should we be doing in early recovery? And, I think that the best way to go about this is to do a little bit of inner work first, right? We want to identify some goals. And these goals are going to largely depend on your situation in a lot of cases, especially in early recovery. Right? You might, depend. I guess there's so many factors, right? It depends on what your substance you're using, like where you're at in life. Like, do you have a good career? Do you not? Do you have kids? Do you have a good relationship with your kids? What exactly kind of baggage have you created? What kind of destruction have you, made on your path through addiction or, whatever you're struggling with? The answers to these questions are going to largely shape your goals. But the point is, we want to identify some goals, some like immediate attainable goals, some baby steps maybe, or maybe, some goals with some baby steps to reach them, right? But maybe, what's a good example? Maybe you're not where you want to be with your career, right? So while we're journaling and positioning ourselves for success and practicing patience and presence of mind and peeling the onion, while we're doing all this inner work and trying to stay sober, we're going to try and identify some steps to get to a better career, right? To get where we want to be. Envision this new you, right? This new life that you want to have. SB, good to see you, right? Maybe career is the goal that we want to set, right? Maybe you want to be somewhere different. Maybe you don't have like a career, right? Like me, I was doing the union thing, or am doing the union thing. I don't know if that's necessarily a career. It can be, right? But maybe I want to dive in, and decide exactly what I want to do professionally, right? So we'll set some goals. We'll decide where we want that to be, right? Where we want to go, where we want to end up. We'll identify some steps. Like maybe I just need to start putting in applications. Maybe I need to start looking into going back to school, right? There are steps to achieving these goals. And they may seem like going back to school for me seems like a monumental task, right? But if I break it down into little steps and break it down further, it doesn't seem so scary and intimidating anymore, right? Um, so that's my first bit is identify some goals. If it's not the career, right? Maybe you want to get closer with your kids in recovery, right? Maybe, that's, something that's really important that you rectify. Yeah, maybe that's just maybe it's not the career, right? Maybe it's the kids, maybe it's your family, maybe you just want to be free from drugs, right? Maybe you've got a good job and your family relationships haven't suffered, right? There's a myriad of things, and they're all going to be personal to you. But I would advise set some goals, break down some real easy steps. Even if it seems tedious to break it down that far, like maybe you need to break it down that far. Who knows? Only you can say, right? But we want to identify some goals, identify some steps to get there, and then that will be the work at hand, right? While we're journaling, peeling the onion, etc. We have some things to keep our hands busy, to keep, because idle hands are the devil's playthings, they say. And I know for me, that it rings very, very true, especially in early recovery, all the time, for sure, right? If I'm isolating and I have nothing but time on my hands, I'm going to get into trouble. It's just science. It's just facts. Seventh son, good to see you. Good to see you. How you doing, man? So yeah, keep ourselves busy with productive things, and that's not to take away from the importance of recreation and personal time, because that is very, very important. But we definitely want to be spending our limited energy supply, because that's what we have. We don't have unlimited energy. We have to go recharge our batteries, whether it's going to sleep or having alone time or having social activity, whatever the case may be. We have to recharge our limited energy supply, right? So we want to be mindful of where we're putting our energy, what we're putting our energy into. And that comes back to the goals. If we identify the goals, then we have an idea of what we want to put our energy into, right? And then it becomes a whole lot easier as well to say, I don't want to put my energy into that today. I don't want to do that. It's easier to say no when you identify these goals, when you identify a hierarchy of your goals, like we were talking about the other day. I guess that we could just call that a priority list, right? Just get your priorities straight. But I guess breaking it down further, there's nothing wrong with that, right? So, but yeah, it all ties together, but we can't neglect any bit of it. The inner work's important, the action's important, um, and treating yourself to something is also important. Treating yourself nice, treating yourself to maybe something a little selfish just for you is very important as well. All of these things together create an environment that we can succeed in as addicts, as recovering addicts. Valerie says, I've been thinking about trying college again. This fall I could do it. What would you study? What are you into? That's an exciting prospect. I always like the idea of going back to school was always really exciting, because I really do like learning. I love learning, but like the idea of going into debt, or like the idea of like taking out loans, I guess is a better way to say it. Like the idea of like going to a school in this country, like coupled with my memories and experience of going to school in this country, I don't like that. That's kind of stressful. So if they would like pay me to go to school, I probably would never stop. But I have played with that idea a lot myself. I've not gotten any headway. Yeah, a certain amount of bandwidth, says Valerie. That's totally what we're talking about. There's only so much that we can give our attention to, right? And our energy and our time. At some point, there's like this invisible switch that gets flipped that says no more. And if we can keep ourselves from getting to that point, it's probably good. It's good for us. Business or accounting, I think, says Valerie. Something I can live anywhere doing. See, that's what I'm talking about. Little freedom goes a long way. I tell you what. Well, Valerie, if big decisions are meant to be slept on, right? But if it's calling to you, go for it. Go for it. I think that's great. Educating yourself. Wharton Fissel says, I have like 6 hobbies besides keeping the property all taken care of. Keeps my hands busy. And you know what? That is the work at hand, Wharton. In situations like that, there's no need to create more work. There's plenty to do, right? You've already set those goals. You've already, it sounds like you're ahead of the game here, bro. 6 hobbies. That's a lot. Are you fantastic at any of your hobbies? My Other's Keeper says, when I was 31, I started a double degree in biblical and intercultural studies with a teaching certificate for English as a subsequent language. Yeah, my little sister is doing English major in college. She's really, really into writing and reading and speaking and language. I'm pretty excited to see where she goes with that. When you say you started a double degree, did you finish? Absolutely, Valerie. Absolutely. I feel like one of my biggest regrets in life is letting people step on my dreams. That's not something that we let happen now, but it's definitely something that happened for a long time growing up. And that's something I don't, allow to happen these days. Yeah, I read about that in Google. I think it's Sweden or Norway that actually pays you for going to university. Yeah, I also read, I think it's Norway or the Netherlands or something like that, but something I read said that they, at a young age, like ask kids what they're into, and then they will like specialize school to that for the kid. Like the kid gets to choose what they study basically from an early age, which I thought was really cool. Your wife cuts and facets the rocks that you hound. That's so cool. I have some friends that are really, really into rock hounding. LKF, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Sometimes I go rock hounding with James and Q, but it's been a long, long time. Yeah, it's never too late, y'all. It's and there's no time like the present. You know what I mean? Chase them dreams now. Get a little headway, right? Had a wonderful career ever since. Heck yeah, Mother's Keeper. That's really good to hear. I didn't know you had 2 kids. Spinning mobiles from wood electrical spools. You sound like a regular MacGyver, Wharton. You enjoy building. You would probably enjoy some of the aspects of Burning Man. Just like the art and the creation aspect of it is pretty friggin' neat. Have a bunch of well-dressed stuffed animals. That's cute. Hey, WP, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I wonder if this 5 p.m. time will actually turn out to be better. We'll see. We're going to give it the good old college try. We're going to give it like a week and see how it turns out. After having 36 jobs, I wonder how many jobs I've had. If I were to count, I bet you it's a lot. I've quit a lot of jobs and been fired from quite a few myself. For some reason, I feel like the chat's a little messed up, but it's just in my head. It looks fine. Okay. Heck yeah, guys. Well, I think that was a sufficient break. We can get back into it. Christian B, good to see you. This time's great for me on the East Coast, he says. Heck yeah, that's good to hear. Who has 2 thumbs and a job interview tomorrow? This guy. Let's go. Heck yeah, good luck tomorrow. Lord Kiss Freak, you got it in the bag, baby. Got it in the bag, baby. So we're talking about actions, action boat. We've been talking a lot about inner work and, thoughts and positioning ourselves for success. But what is the action? We just talked a little bit about identifying goals, baby steps to get to these goals, immediate attainable goals and steps, right? Whatever the case may be. Now, this is a marathon. I've said this before, and I probably will say it a bunch more. Mary Marion, good to see you. Marie Marion, pardon me. Good luck with your job interview, LKF. Yeah, this is a marathon, not a race. We're going to be chugging along, and we're going to keep doing that. So pace yourself. Do a little at a time. That's what the point of the baby steps are, right? We don't want to overwhelm ourselves, especially in early recovery. We don't want to overwhelm ourselves. We want to be nice to ourselves, be kind. Often we're working through these negative self-talk habits that we have, right? We're also working on being nicer to ourselves when we're in private, right? So it's understandable. Pace yourself, be patient with yourself. It's a marathon, right? We want to be able to give energy to stuff tomorrow as well. We don't want to burn it all up today, which is something that I struggle with to this day. You guys have actually been watching me. Jason P, good to see you. Yeah, no sweat, brother. It's going to be a little transition, but I think it's going to work out in the wash. I think it's going to be good in the long run. Glad you made it. I also pretty sure I disabled the notification bot on Discord because it was pinging everyone, but not like it wasn't pinging the way I wanted it to. It's just pinging everyone all the time, which is annoying. So I took it off because I didn't want to be annoying to the people that support me. I couldn't make it work. So Sweet Tea, good to see you. I finished off your coffee this morning, actually, and it was delicious. Every single cup of it. I just want to thank you again. Sweet Tea says, I have some potentially good news. My son, 16, mild autism, applied for a dual enrollment program today, high school/community college. He will graduate high school with an associate degree. Fingers crossed. Well, I've got my fingers crossed, and congratulations. That is really, really cool. That's a big deal. It's a big step, I bet. Sounds like it'll be really good for him, too. Keep us updated, Sweet Tea. Let us know how it goes. Let's get some ones and some fingers crossed for Sweet Tea's son. Yeah, Wharton, this has definitely been the cause of me walking out of a job many a time. They're always trying to treat you like crap. I don't know why. Mary Marion is your cousin. That can't possibly get confusing, right? Casey, good to see you. Glad you made it. Sherry, hey there. Heck yeah, guys, this is gonna work out. I know it will. All right, limited energy supply, marathon, right? We're thinking long term here. We have talked about these little goals, right? These immediately attainable goals. We also want to talk about and think about long-term goals. Where do we want to end up, right? And often these goals are harder, at least for me, especially because I'm younger, I guess, but it's hard for me to actually answer the question, what do I want in 10 years, right? Where do I want to be? It's like, well, shit, I want to be a rock star. I want to be an astronaut, and I want to have, a Ford truck with a tactical nuke in the bed, with M16 on the hood. But realistically, it's hard to answer that question. So I get that, but it behooves us to, and maybe our small goals add up to a large goal, like our short-term goals add up to a long-term goal, right? Whatever we can do to make it easier or make it make sense, whatever connections we can make in our brain to help these things come out of us onto paper, whatever, in your head, out of your mouth. It behooves us to make a long-term goal because we can start heading towards it. It's the same concept of the importance of writing things down, right? It's the same concept of why we journal. There's power in writing stuff down. It's going to peel your onion. It's going to get you thinking. It's going to also somehow move the energy and the emotion. It's going to have an effect on the way that the things you're writing and things you're thinking are affecting you physically. So the same kind of concept. What was I talking about? Yeah, Brazy Girl. I saw your name, but I think it might have just been Seventh saying it. Shout out to my girl, Brazy Girl. She's out there somewhere right now doing her thing. Dang it, I can't believe I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, long-term goals. Yeah, the same concept and idea behind journaling is the same concept behind your long-term goals and your short-term goals, right? We can start moving towards it if we visualize and like if we create a goal, if we have a goal that we want to achieve, right, and we set this goal, we are going to automatically start moving towards it. Like if we mean it, right? If we're actually enacting on these steps, if we're actually taking the action, um, conceiving the goal is the first step to making that happen, right? So it's important. Can't overstate that enough. Miss Dragon, how you doing? This is a better time. It's going to take some adjusting. I have to say, like, I had so much more energy leading up to this. Felt so much better. Like nothing was a drag, right? But it is still an adjustment. It's very strange to be here. And at this time, yeah, it's just strange. Lisa Vining, good to see you. Hey, Spanx, silent watcher for the most part, but you're doing an amazing job. Oh, wow, I appreciate that. Purple hearts are the best hearts. And shout out to Lisa. Thank you for that. And, you don't ever have to speak up if you don't want to. If you're just a lurker, a silent watcher, whatever, we love that. That's totally great. Wherever you're at, we'll meet you there. Don't I, Ben? Ben says I look much more energetic than usual. This is like my time. This is the time of day where I usually get off work and then I get my like second, third wind, and it's just immaculately crazy, and it comes from nowhere. So that's probably what this is. I did have a little Red Bull as well. Sad news. I was going to go to a metal concert tonight, but I did my budget. I can't afford it. That's okay. That's okay. I like went down my budget and I put all the important stuff first, right? Like I need to get my sister a birthday gift, even though it's late. I need to go grocery shopping and don't have concert money. So we didn't do that. But I did find there's a nursery right down the street from my house. I could get a plant that's pretty big and carry it home. That's how close the nursery is. So obviously, if the concert's not in the budget, the plant's not in the budget. But the next cycle of budget, all of these things will be. That's the whole point of it not being in the budget now, right? So that we make progress instead of the opposite. So it's all good. And Ben, it's very nice of you to mention how responsible of me that is, because this is a new thing. Tara Smiling, I see you. Good to see you. Responsibility is a new thing for Captain Calhoun, and I think I'm doing a good job. Definitely doing better than I ever have in my whole life historically. So, but I believe in me. I think I got it. Tara Smiling says, I just wrapped up my live. I won't be on time on Mondays, but I'm glad you found a time that works for you. I hate to cut into your time, Tara. Maybe I'll have to start a little late or something, like a little like 5:15. I don't know, 5:20. I don't know, because I should be over there catching your live. Definitely something for me to consider. I did not go to the dentist. I called the number on the follow-up paperwork from the hospital, and the dentist that they had on there is permanently closed, and the reviews for this permanently closed dentist were alarming. So I did some research and found another dentist, and then I followed up with my health insurance, and it wasn't all the way through yet, or whatever that means. I had to submit some paperwork proving residency and something else, but I sent all that in. So the answer is I moved closer to the dentist goal, but I did not set an appointment, but I did find a dentist that I will set an appointment with. I want to confirm that my health insurance is going to cover things, because I won't be able to pay out of pocket. That's going to totally screw my whole thing up. So luckily my mouth isn't in pain and it's not swelling up. And luckily the gods are good to me today. But definitely keep my mouth in your thoughts, because it very well could start hurting before I'm able to get to the dentist. So I'm doing everything I can. I know, Tara, there's just this piece of me that wants to, though. You know what I mean? And I can't stop it. So that's why I give it voice, because then it has it has more reasonable power and less unreasonable power over me, if that makes sense. If I give it voice, if I let those words out of me, then it helps a lot to process and be realistic with my emotions and stuff. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Because of course I want to support every single one of you, right? But you're right. I definitely don't need to. Brazy girl, good to see you. Lol, thought it was Sunday. Well, I'm glad you're here, Brazy. How you doing? Yeah, Tara, will you throw up your channel for the people, for the peeps? Let them know where to find you. I just want a tactical nuke in the back of my Ford. I've been finding these AI bands, like these robot bands, basically, that like will copy like popular styles, but just make stuff up. And it's hilarious. My new favorite one is like this Ford song about the new Ford Armageddon. And it's just got like cannons and missiles and machine guns on the truck. And there's like a video for it. The whatever AI made this song made like a video ad for the new Ford Armageddon. Perfect truck for the whole family, finally. And it's like just got guns all over it. And it's had me laughing hard. And it's just been like in the back of my head all day. I just want a tactical nuke in the back of my Ford. And it just keeps playing. My buddy Ged keeps sending me all these funny all this funny stuff. Hey Misha, how you doing? Misha, awakened by the looking glass. I don't know how to pronounce your name, so I'll just call you by your stage name. It's just your name, right, Tara? Kfic, good to see you. Glad you made it. Yeah, I think this time will turn out to be better in the long run. Dennis the Menace, good to see you. I was wondering if we were going to see Izzy. I know Davey popped in earlier. Zenwen. Good to see you. Yeah, I thought about it a whole lot, especially because I like felt weird about it this morning afterwards. I don't think there's any downside to posting links to other people's channels. We're all about connection, right? So even if I have no idea who the channel is being linked, I don't think that I should care. You know what I mean? If it's a channel that shouldn't be shared, I will know who it is, right? So I don't know. I just am a little embarrassed about this morning, Zen, and I appreciate you, and I don't want to hinder you from following your heart and doing what you want to do. That's like, yeah, I want to support that. So just wanted to say all that. Goddess Divine, good to see you. I love that name. All right. Where were we on the action? I guess that's all I had. Long term. The importance of the long term was the last thing I had written. Motley Crue's new song name came out a couple days ago. They should have stayed retired. Oh no, is it just the name? They're too old to make the same kind of music. They would have to change the subject matter, right? Man, I wish I had written more notes. It's all right. It's all right. Y'all get it though. Combination of our inner spiritual, whatever you want to call them, tools with our action tools can't be stopped. We're recovering machines at this point, right? I mean, that's all well and good to say, but we definitely need to stay resting on the laurels is something we need to watch out for, right? Just because things are going well now, just because we have it under control now, doesn't mean that life's going to not throw us a curveball the next chance it gets, right? As soon as we feel comfortable, as soon as we start resting on our laurels, right? As soon as we start relaxing, definitely okay to relax, but you don't want to drop the tools, right? You don't want to slowly slide into relapse like we've talked about with the stages, right? So I guess that's another thing we can talk about is resting on the laurels. That's something that's gotten me multiple times, especially after I've got like a couple years of sobriety, goals that I've set, I'm starting to accomplish. I'm starting to make headway. Life's looking different and better. It's very easy to like go have a drink or, think that it's I used to say my relationship is different with it all now. Like that's just a bunch of horse crap in my opinion. Yeah, this under control I speak of, as soon as I said that, I thought, what is this under control, right? Yeah, no, that was the wrong wording. We don't want to feel like, I don't know. We do have this, right? But only if we give it our everything, only if we work our damn asses off. You know what I mean? We don't want to rest on our laurels because this disease we're dealing with is insidious. It knows who we are and it knows which buttons to press to get the desired reaction. You know what I mean? So it's not necessarily under control. You just don't need to be afraid. This is possible. We can recover. Stay diligent. Whine a little bit more. I do quite a bit of whining and complaining. It's one of my superpowers. Just got here and went back to school, culinary school. It was the hardest and most rewarding decision I ever made. Definitely takes a lot of determination, but it was so worth it. I've heard this story many times, and it does seem to be an avenue worth taking. I'm glad that you shared that. We were just talking about school earlier and someone's aspirations to possibly go back. Maybe this will serve to inspire that person. I know I always say song of the day, and then I do like 2 a day, but I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it. One of the days recently, I had intended to say that the song of the day was Nutshell by Alice in Chains, the MTV Unplugged version, but I forgot. So now today it's the song of the day. You have to do the unplugged version because it just has that raw emotion on it that makes you want to cry a little. Highly recommend. Yeah, the random things that will spark the random things in my head. I tell you what. I tell you what. Yeah, when they actually played music. When they actually played music. I remember that was a part of my morning routine in like middle school. I would wake up and watch the music video montage with my breakfast and then go to school. Yeah, I love that song. Sanitarium, good to see ya. Sanitarium Radio. Beep boop. Well, guys, that's really all I had for action. We were talking about flow a little earlier too. I'm going to end up doing a show on the flow state. Are you guys familiar with this, the flow state? My brain is like a pinball machine. You are correct. Are you all familiar with the flow state? If at first you don't succeed, try again. I love the Rescue Rangers. You guys, check this out. My dad used to do this to me all the time. You guys ready? This will be fun. Hello, you are live on the lifeboat. This is the captain speaking. Yeah, I mean we're on the phone, but I am live. Yeah. Jake says hello, boat that is also alive. No, this is the new time, but we've got like, I don't know, 20 minutes or so left if you want me to give you a call afterwards. Much brotherly love. Goodbye. I like that guy a lot. That's my bud. That's my bud. No, that was my buddy Ged Nebulizer. That was Jake. Not familiar, but sounds intriguing. That's right. That serves to remind me what I was talking about, which is the flow state. Where are Brazy's presents? Wow, Jake always makes me so happy. Um, the flow state. So I learned about this in like with my hippie friends in the fire community, in the burning community. But it serves in a very general purpose in life as a piece of knowledge to have, right? So when there was a comment earlier, I think it was Valerie. I don't mean to put you on the spot. I'm going to go back and look though. Someone said that they just got into a flow and were writing short stories. Yeah, and it just all seemed to flow and it went very well. And that reminded me of the flow state, which is when, so when you think about like how you take action, your brain has a thought. You're like, hey, I want to pick up these glasses and switch them. So you think about it, you start doing it, right? There's a thought, there's an action. So, what if you could take the thought out and just act? What if your body just knew what to do, right? And one of the ways that we do this is by doing things over and over and over and over until they become mechanical. When I play with my flow stuff, the two sticks in the corner, a lot of what I'm doing is just the same thing over and over, but it gets to a point where it is mechanical. And then when I don't have to think about it, I can achieve this flow state where there's no intermediary between like myself and what I'm doing. It's just all one, if that makes sense. I'm taking the thought out of it. Like as soon as there's a thought, there's an action. It's all one piece now, right? Muscle memory, exactly, right? But the flow state is the mind state that you get in when you remove the thought. And it's not something that we can just, it's something that you have to work on. It's like it's more of an art. It's a subtle thing that you can find yourself in, but it is a mind state. If there's ever been a time in your life when you've achieved and accomplished so much in a short period of time, you amazed yourself, that's probably, due to a flow state that you may or may not have been aware of. And this is something that we can practice getting into. Tara Smiling says, meditation helps me get into the flow state. And this is one of the ways that we can practice. But I think it's an interesting topic to talk about because it can be harnessed for a lot of things, right? And it doesn't necessarily directly relate to recovery. But I don't know. It's really interesting and cool. How about that? Yeah, it's a lot of drumming, Ben. That's right. But that's, your favorite drummer is doing that. He's in a flow state when he's rocking a show, when he's writing music, when he's doing a solo. He's in a flow state, guaranteed. And when he's a little bit off, you can tell, especially if you know this drummer, right? Very well, or whatever. You listen to him all the time. You can tell when he's off. And that's him not in the flow state. That's him not like knocking himself off his mental horse, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's a fun topic that we could really explore a whole lot of. And I have some stories to tell about it. And I think that would be a fun one. It's interesting. I'm learning that I want to balance like recovery stuff with other concepts that I also think are important and concepts that I think are valuable. But I'm very wary to get away from the original goal, right? But there's nothing wrong with switching it up and having fun. And so, yeah, we'll talk about some other stuff. Val reminded me Spanx was getting a pot so we could make soup. I still do not have this pot. But I'm going to hopefully have my dad take me to the thrift store on Wednesday. Hopefully, we'll see. I need water in my body immediately. Mocked Myrtle. I actually interrupted my panic attacks that way. My brain automatically bridges the reaction chain being set off. I usually play finger piano. Interesting. So you've created a like action slash response that will pull you out. That is really cool. And we can train our brains to do a myriad of things. And this is another tool I think we should talk more about one day. I could probably do a whole show on training our brains for certain things. You can use music, you can use triggers to help train your brain. My dad's talked about it a little bit. Water reminder going out to all the crew. Yeah, my spam folder is now an important folder. Pop some tags. Yeah, I'm about to pop some tags, that's for sure. You asked me about hip hop the other day, didn't you, Tara? What kind of hip hop are you into? What kind of rap are you into? Oh my gosh, we are hungry. I did just eat a huge burrito, but as soon as I turn this off, I could probably eat more of it. Between the cracks, just completed a heavy stream, but stopping in to say hi and give an I love you to all my friends here. Shout out to Between the Cracks. Much love right back at you. Yeah, it's hungry time. Every time I read that, I'm like, oh, now I want to eat. Now I want to eat. Well, oh, hey, Jen Marie. I didn't know that was you. I'm still getting like the channels with their owners like all straight in my head. It is a struggle so far, but I am confident I can do it. I'm confident I can remember, who's who and whatnot. I mean, I'm into some sketchy music, so no judgment. I definitely would be embarrassed to like admit some of the stuff that I'm into, but um, only because I think people wouldn't understand. You know? You know? Um, I wonder why I brought that up. I had a thought about music. How you doing, Jen? It has been a while, and I've been thinking about you. How are you doing? It's gone. I don't remember what it was. I like Taylor Swift. Okay, who's next? I like Sublime. How music can be a trigger. Interesting. Well, there's a name for this like certain kind of like cognitive training, but you can like have you ever listened to a song that you used to listen to a whole lot and then all of a sudden like you kind of remember and get that nostalgia and the feelings that you had from that bygone time when you used to jam that song all the time? Like for example, when I was younger, there was a slightly stupid song called, or there is a slightly stupid song called 2 a.m. And that song would like make me feel happy and confident. And whenever I was not in a good place mentally, I would use that song to put myself back on top. Or whenever I listen to a song from the album Silver Side Up by Nickelback, any song from that album reminds me of a time when before my parents got divorced and we were living in Nevada, and my dad and my uncle had Porsches, and my mom had a Porsche, and it was like that time right before everything kind of blew up, I guess. So that is an example of how music can trigger some things, and that's my experience with it. But from what I understand, we can definitely use this for a myriad of things. Cognitive behavioral training, is that what it's called? I might just be talking out of my butt, so don't don't quote me. I like Greaves. Greaves is pretty neat. Really, really good. I needed to unplug from the interwebs for a while to focus on me. I can relate with that so thoroughly. I tell you what, there is always time or I shouldn't say that. There can always be time made for self-care, right? For a little me time. In fact, yesterday on my sign off, I'm pretty sure I said, do something selfish for you today. So I'm glad you're taking care of you, Jen Marie. That warms me up. Gorillas make me smile always. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Well, I might get out of here, guys. I think I'm gonna go eat the rest of that burrito. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go do something amazing. But I love you guys. I'm so glad you guys came. And yes, smells are the same. Totally great point. Awakened by the Looking Glass. Basically, all of our senses can be used this way. Just some are better than others, right? Some are better than others. But yeah, hit that like, subscribe, bell for notifications. If you know anyone that's struggling with substance abuse, send them here. Give them my email, sober@myyahoo.com. Or just, I don't know. Yeah. If you feel like it's right, let them know. And I hope that everyone continues to have a good evening. I'll see you in the morning. Let's make it a great Monday.